Hey guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope you're having an awesome day. I'm back with another video here. Transformers, my favorite. Studio Series 86, long awaited Megatron here. Definitely was looking forward to getting one of these. This is $59.99 here in the US. I got mine from Hasbro Pulse, so really cool. Definitely going to pair him up with the Studio Series 86 Optimus that was released earlier on. But you guys can see there's a box. Here on the back, we've got Megatron with his sword, which wasn't in the movie. I believe that's from the actual TV show. We've got a little gun mode, but his alt mode is actually a tank. Whatever. So again, here's the back, a little bit about Megatron, and really cool box here with Megatron's face there. But yeah, definitely looking forward to getting this one open and adding it to the collection. Once you get him out of his cardboard and plastic prison, he's tied in there with these little plastic things, but obviously you get his cannon, his arm cannon, and it looks like his accessories come wrapped up in that nice Autobot symbol tissue paper. You also do get your instructions. So yeah, gonna get this guy freed from here, give you guys a better look. All right, so now we got Megatron out of the box. Accessory wise, you of course get his giant, I'm gonna call it fusion cannon, whatever you want to call it. It looks really nice. Got some nice detailing in the gunmetal gray there. You get the little nub here so it can go attached to his arm. But overall, first impressions, looks pretty good. Of course, this goes attached here. Funnily enough, when it's not on, it looks the right size. Once you put it on, the barrel looks a little short. Doesn't look bad. I just wish it would have been slightly longer. So again, there's that. You get Megatron in his gun mode. Plain old gray plastic and gunmetal gray. Doesn't look bad. Got the Decepticon symbol there. Of course, this is made for other Decepticons or Autobots if you wanted to hold him in his gun mode. So, of course, this guy turns into a tank, but at least they gave you the little gun mode here for other figures to hold. So, that's really cool. You also do get this little piece, which this goes attached to the back of Megatron there to give him the more screen accurate look. This is part of his gun mode. I'm going to assume it's part of the tank mode in this case. It looks like the barrel, but this goes attached to his back here. He's got to mess around. They've got some slots there, it looks like. So you kind of just bend this in and tap that back here to give him that more complete look. And lastly, you get some weapons. This is a Energon sword, I believe. I think this is what he used when he fought Optimus in a dam. I think it's one of the earlier G1 episodes from back then. I don't believe he used this in the actual movie, but again, it's pretty cool that they give us this accessories. So again, really nice done in this purple and then the gray handle. So yeah, that is it for the accessories. All right, let's get it going here. This figure is awesome. Out of the box, looks really cool. I did want to mention that all the accessories I just showed, obviously the one here goes in the back, but there are places for the other two. For the gun mode, there's a little tab that you can use to place in the back, and same thing with the sword. There's a slot for it. So it's really cool, again, that they give you options for the weapon storage. So we're going to go ahead and take these off here and take the gun off as well. It's a little nub there they used to put on the back. The figure itself, man, this thing looks awesome. I know the term mini masterpiece gets thrown around quite a bit, and this is definitely, I think, what fits this figure. What strikes me at first is the quality of the plastic. Looks fairly, I guess, higher than other figures. It reminds me a lot of the Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime. But yeah, this looks really nice. I mean, it's awesome. So you guys can see some of the detailing there, pretty on point with what we saw on the screen. You've got the gray with that face there, here looking all evil. You got a little detailing here on the chest, the Decepticon symbol. On the ab section here, a little yellow red detailing and buttons. Of course, you got the red forearms, but the biceps, you know, again, he looks really cool. His waist piece looks really nice. The gray, I think there was some pictures going around where this part looked a little more like bluer or you know, slightly different color. This is I would say a gray, so it definitely fits in really well. Again, they've done such a good job. It looks really clean. I would say I kind of just, again, out of the box. I'm liking this a little better than Optimus simply because he doesn't have that huge backpack that Studio Series 86 Optimus had here on the back. This guy is just really clean, really slender, nice figure. Of course, he's a tank, so you see some of the tank threads back here, but I mean, compared to other Megatron figures, from what I recall, everything's so well put together. The details are all there. I mean, he's very imposing looking, and you know, again, I'm amazed that we're getting figures in this size that look this good. Of course, we are paying quite a bit for them, $59.99. So things are going up in price quite a bit. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say other than if you are looking for a screen accurate G1 figure, I think this is it. Of course, he doesn't transform into a gun. So that is one thing I would say against it if you're a purist. Personally, for me, you know, I had already made peace with the fact that we are not going to get a gun Megatron ever, I don't think. Right, the last one, at least the last one I have in my collection, is the actual masterpiece, a Takara, that was released overseas. But this thing, it's just awesome. So yeah, you guys could see, man, this just a little gray detailing, the plastic, you know, the way he stands. I think they've done an amazing job, I think, giving us a great looking figure here of Megatron. Really nice. Moving on to the articulation here for Studio Series 86 Megatron. As you guys could see, you can put this guy in some really cool poses there. He definitely has good articulation pretty much everywhere. Very similar to Studio Series 86 Optimus, right? So have him in that bit of an action pose, but you can move his head fully all the way around, full 360. You've got you know, your elbows here, you can move them up and down. You can pretty much rotate this all the way around. You got bicep articulation, so you can rotate that there, and you also have your regular way above 90 at this point, right? A little bit above 90 on the elbows, and then his hands here, you can turn them fully around, and the hands are also articulated, and they're actually separate fingers. Two of them are anyway, so he could do just like Optimus, a bit of some pointing there. So if you want him pointing at Decepticons, he can do that as well. You guys can see there the waist moves freely all the way around. There is no like, you know, ab crunch, but so don't try to force it, you might end up breaking something. Here these hip skirts move out of the way to the back, but that's part of the transformation. But you can use them because this guy can do a split. So again, very similar to Optimus there. Pretty nice split, but he can kick forward, he can kick back there, and the knee there, really nice joint. And then you've got your ankles here. You can move them all the way out. That's part of the transformation as well, but you can use that to your advantage when posing this guy. And then you've got also a joint here at the leg that you can use this to turn the leg fully around. So again, you'll be able to play with this guy and get him in some nice poses if need be, so he can start shooting at some Autobots there. So again, really good job on the articulation on Megatron here. Now let's move on with Studio Series 86 Megatron here. Transformation wise, we're gonna remove the cannon. There is some parts forming involved here. This cannon specifically, part of the transformation involves taking this part down here, if I can just get in, and swinging it down like so. I'm gonna take that and leave it like that. That's for later. You also take this back part here, which is now the tip of the cannon. You're going to take this little nub here. It's on a hinge, so you're going to fold that down, and then you just kind of stick that in there, and now you have a full cannon. This is what he's going to use in his vehicle mode. So we'll put that aside for now, concentrating here on Megatron. All right, give you better angle here. First things are the hands here, which are actually really cool. you open up the forms here, these panels on both sides like so. At this point you're going to take the fist here and you're going to swing it in, and then you take this whole section that you've opened up here and hinge it all the way around, and then you're just going to close everything back up, make sure it snaps in place. Same thing here, this is going to open up, and this is part of the transformation I really love. I love when I go through the extra step of hiding you know, the hands and not having any gaps. That's really cool. So you fold the hand in and you take this and completely turn it. It's on a hinge just like the other arm, and you just close it in, and then at that point you're done with that section. This section here, next is you have to remove the arms. They're on hinges. It's a little tricky. I get a little nervous with trying to pull things, but you're gonna push them forward and then out. These are supposed to swing out, so you kind of just do that, and you'll see they're on hinges. So there. And the next thing to do here is you're gonna take this and just swing it around, and then there's one more fold here. Hold this all the way around here. For now you can leave the arms like this. Next we're gonna grab this section here and pull it down. It's in a bit of a hinge, so you're gonna pull that down like so. This will loosen up the torso. You'll see it'll start bending this way. That's fine, we'll need that for the transformation. But you're gonna take this and fold it down and unfold it. There's also another panel here you have to unfold, so just gonna grab it and unfold that as well. So you'll end up with something like this. This then gives you the chance to go ahead and hide the head. So you're just gonna swing this in like that and just line everything up so it looks nice and smooth. And then at that point you could take that and just leave it like so. Next step here is the legs. We're gonna fold these hip skirts. They rotate in actually, you'll see that, and these have tabs, so these are gonna get tabbed into the legs here. You'll actually see the sections there that fit in. So you can start like folding them in like so. Don't tab them in yet. I found it's easier because you're gonna need to mess with the legs next for quite a bit. Before we do that though, make sure that now the torso, Megatron's face, should be facing out for now like so. Just let that be. The legs I thought were pretty cool, so essentially you're gonna take these and unfold it out, untab this whole section, and there's hinges there, so just leave that on for now. Take this back section and just undo the tab, and this will free up the whole side of the leg, and you'll see it unfold like so. There's these panels here open out, so you're gonna take that, swing that out, and then this allows you to pull this thing out to finish out the threads. And then same thing here, you're gonna take that and swing this out. Just gotta get that, so swing that out and just push this back in. Then this middle section now goes all the way wrapped around, and it finishes out the threads. And do the same thing on this side, right? So we're gonna undo this a little bit, undo the leg, undo this whole section, just fold it out for now. Take this back part, undo that. That will release his legs, which you are then going to fold like so. You're gonna take the threads here and fold that out, release this side, fold that back in. Same thing here. You're gonna take this, fold it out, fold this in, and just fold this down, and then you are pretty much done at that point. Now you can actually start doing the whole section here with the feet. You're going to tab everything in. Once you're done with the threads, next thing to do is to move this whole torso section out. So you're going to swing it in, and there is a little section here, I don't know if you can see that, where this is going to tab into place there. So just swing that in
like so. Just got to get that in there, and you'll end up with something like this. Take these sections here and just fold them around. You can move these up for now to get them out of the way. So we're gonna do that. Just have that sit in there for now. Next thing here is the legs here. So we're gonna fix these threads so that they're facing off to the side. These are going to get tabbed into the side here. There's actually a tab here that goes here, and all these little nubs that are going to get attached to the different places here on the side. But first thing here is take was essentially the feet, and we're going to slide these under. I don't know if you could see that. Maybe it's worthwhile to get this out of the way and undo this, but these are going to slide in like so, forward like that, and these are supposed to sit here. I don't know if you can see, there's one here and one here. They're supposed to slide into here, and the sections here, right here, and right here. So the instructions usually say to put this part in first, but I found it's easier to just put this in kind of at the same time, and they'll fit right in. Everything will sit in nice and flush. So next thing, once you're done with the panels here, then we can start tabbing in a lot of these sections here. So just line up everything. Everything should tab in nice and secure. The same thing here, you're gonna tab in all these sections here. So just make sure you tab everything in like so. Everything should fit in nice and tight there. And next thing to do is you're just going to fold these down. You're going to take the feet, essentially fold them in, and just finish by folding that all the way down. So you're going to do the same thing on this. So you're going to take this, fold it around, then fold this down, then do that, and then at that point you are done with this section. Just make sure everything kind of fits in place like that, so everything's nice and secure and tight. Next then is these arms here. The instructions do go about explaining how these are going to fold in a bit of a convoluted way, at least to my eye, but essentially you're going to take these sections here and you're going to fold them in like so, and then you'll start to see that there's a tab here which will also line up with the tab here. And essentially all you're going to do is join both sides, and I found it that it's easier to look at the black dots here. Essentially you're gonna have like, you're gonna fold them in. So I don't know if you can see that. You're gonna take that and make sure it tabs here at the top. Going to now take these sections here and just turn them all the way around like so. Same thing here, you're going to take this and turn the arms. Just make sure everything's kind of tabbed in place. So yep. And next thing to do is here, these two sections, this is where you're going to wind up tabbing in the cannon, but you just got to turn them on so these hexagonal sections are facing up. And you'll see the reason for that is because there are tabs here where this cannon is now going to go. This whole open section here is essentially going to scoop, but just like putting it from the top, you're just going to slide that in and just tab in the cannon right there. And then yeah, at that point you are done. Everything kind of sits very securely and in place. Nothing is loose. Looking really cool. The turret here does rotate completely. I guess you could try and make it look up, but you might end up breaking something, so just be really careful. He has wheels, so he does roll. Show you there. He does roll really well. Of course, this is not a gun. You know, I'm a G1 fan. So while it would have been nice to get a gun, I think what we got here is a really well-made tank mode. I think it looks really cool. I think the transformation is pretty clever, especially around the whole leg sections and how that robot mode turns into this tank. I think it's probably one of the better Megatron tank modes that I've seen. Here's the bottom. Everything kind of again fits in place really well. Everything's tabbed in, nothing is loose. And of course, as I said, he's got wheels here on the threads and then here in the center. A bit of a gap here. So I guess it could be maybe some third party that will sell a kind of cover here. Doesn't really bother me too much. Here's the chest with the Decepticon insignia. So again, looking really nice there. Here's the side profile. Here's the back. Here's the other side. A bit of a top. And here's your front look. Now moving on to the size comparisons here. Let's start us off with some Autobots. Right off the bat, we have the Studio Series 86 Grimlock in the comic book edition colorway or deco, and then we also have here the Siege Shockwave, which was also recolored in those comic book edition colors, so you guys can see there the difference. I'm going to assume we'll probably end up getting a revised Shockwave at some point. Shockwave there is looking a little smaller, but that's what those two look like together with Megatron. Next, we have them here next to Kingdom Rodimus and, of course, Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime there. Again, looking really cool. Rodimus does look a bit smaller there, but I think I do prefer my bad guys to be bigger than my good guys, so I think it kind of works, but I don't know. Maybe we'll get an updated Rodimus at some point as well, but that is what these two look like next to Megatron. Next, on the left, we have the Studio Series 86 Coronation Starscream. And on the right, we have the Legacy Soundwave. That was the latest release that came with Bosso, as you guys could see there. Of course, I can't wait until we get Studio Series 86 Soundwave, which I have pre-ordered. And I have pre-ordered the Studio Series 86 Thundercracker, so I'm assuming at some point we will get a recolor of that. It's inevitable at this point of Starscream. Those guys do look a little bit smaller in comparison to Studio Series 86, but I think that kind of works. But again, can't wait for the new molds. But this is what Megatron looks like next to these two at the moment. One more comparison here. We have on the right one of the Legacy Insecticons Kickback, and on the left we have a Siege figure from a long time ago. That is Astrotrain from the Siege line. In this case, I do think Astrotrain is way too small. I'm hoping they do, hopefully in the future, do a rework of this guy and we get a figure that's at least the same size as Megatron, if not a little bigger. Again, him being a triple changer, so, but that's what these two look like next to our Lord Megatron. One more comparison here with G2 G-Axis on the right and another triple changer that is Kingdom, I believe, Blitzwing. Again, similarly to Astrotrain, my one complaint there would be is Blitzwing there is a bit too small in comparison to the Studio Series 86 Megatron. Here we have Megatron next to two more recent figures, or at least Prima Prime is one of the more recent 13 Primes there on the right, and then on the left we have Vector Prime, which actually came out I think at the tail end of Legacy by this point, but that's what these two look like next to Megatron. Starting us off with the Megatron comparison here, on the left we have Galvatron. I believe that's been released under Legacy as well as Studio Series 86. I have like 3 versions of that guy. That is the Behold Galvatron one that came out with a bunch of accessories. And on the right, we have Armada Megatron there. I love this figure. It's awesome. But you guys could see there the size comparison to Studio Series 86 Megatron. One more comparison to more Megatron figures here. On the left, we have the Gamer Edition War for Cybertron Megatron. And on the right, we have the concept art, I believe, Bumblebee Movie Megatron, looking pretty cool. So you guys can see them there together. One more here on the left, we have IDW. So that is Minor Megatron, which is part of a 2-pack with Senator Ratbat. And on the right, we have another IDW that was part of also a 2-pack that included a IDW-based Orion packs. I think it's called like, End of Friendship or something along those lines. I have so many of these things. But both of these Megatrons are based on the Siege mold, which has been around for a while. And as you guys can see, were recolored and retooled or what have you, and re-released in many different iterations by this point. Here, last comparison, we have them next to Siege Megatron in the 35th anniversary colors. Again, for me, there's really no question at this point. Studio Series 86 Megatron is it. He is going to be my rep in my Decepticon shelf. Again, no shade against Siege Megatron because I've had him for a while. As you guys saw the previous 2 molds that I showed, it's been reused and retooled or recolored and re-released so many times. Also, obviously, Studio Series 86 is more G1 based, and the Siege mold there, while it took inspiration from G1, I think they were trying to do something a little bit different. However, I'm not too crazy about now looking at them together, the proportions, and of course, you guys could see there the huge backpack. Now, mind you, both of these guys transform into tanks. So I think this is where Studio Series 86 did an amazing job in hiding a lot of these bulky parts in the leg here. You guys could see there's the back. But, as a Siege, I think standalone, new representation of Megatron, it kind of did work. But I am just so happy that we now have a more screen accurate Megatron in Studio Series 86. Okay guys, so I think that's going to be it for me. Hope you enjoyed the video. Overall, really happy here with Studio Series 86 Megatron. The posability, the joints are there, the color, the paint's done really well. The look, the overall look, I think, of the figure, just, I think they've hit a home run with this one. I am very happy. Of course, the only one caveat that I will say with Megatron is obviously he doesn't transform into a gun. I think by this point, I think I mentioned earlier, I've kind of made peace with the fact that we probably won't get a G1 Megatron that will transform into a gun ever again. I wish we would, but probably not. So I think they've done an amazing job with that transformation, getting it into a tank. It just fits in really well. So again, I am happy with that as well. So overall, great job to Takara, Hasbro, and the designers. I think this is an awesome figure. I think oftentimes we always mention a lot of these smaller figures are getting into that whole masterpiece kind of range, and I would probably tell you, if you can't get your hands on masterpiece Megatron, this is such an awesome alternative. Even though it doesn't turn into a gun, I think it looks great. The playability's there. Again, pretty awesome figure nonetheless. But that is going to do it for me. As I said, thank you so much for listening to me ramble. If you made it to the end, I really appreciate your time. I will catch you in the next video. Take care.